Another week, another week of crazy headlines. I mean, extraordinary headlines where we are practically the center of the universe. And we're so glad that you're a part of our universe. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
Yeah, glad to have you with us. It is truly an honor. My name is Matt Austin. No surprise, this week, Florida was the center of the news universe. We would be remiss if we didn't begin with the biggest story in the country this week, which took place down at federal court in Miami. Former President Donald Trump indicted on more charges. This over the documents found in Mar-a-Lago and the scope of the charges. If, in fact, he goes to trial and is convicted, he could be put away for a very long time. We're seeing spin from both sides, some saying this is a political stunt to try to keep President Trump out of the race for the next president. Other people saying, yes, he did, in fact, do this stuff, and he should be put in prison for a very long time. We are not going to debate that today. We just wanted to discuss the fact that, holy cow, like it was a circus outside.
People took buses, they carpooled. I think people just like being where the action is.
Where the attention is. I think
okay, yeah.
People on both sides like being where the attention is. Here's what I would encourage. There's going to be a lot of people on TV telling you which way to think. You can go to clickorlando.com. We have posted the full indictment. You can read it for yourself. And that is what the prosecution is going to lay out against former President Donald Trump. Will it stick? Who knows? There's going to be a lot of time to try to figure all that out. But there are more headlines we got to get to today, Ginger.
Just read the indictment, #facts. It's all in there.
Right.
All right. The other story we want to talk about is we have a lot of severe weather happening here in Florida all the time. And tornado season is upon us because you get the hot afternoon. Sometimes it cools down and then you get all that air clashing. Well, this happened in Brevard County. And I want you to witness what one guy had the nerve and the steely nerves to stay and record. It was an EF1. So take a look at what he witnessed.
Oh my God, no. That house, the house behind that house right there just went.
Look at that, just went. Can you imagine seeing that in front of your eyes? I never want to be anywhere near where any of this is going on. And just to see the devastation and destruction, it's terrible. And even if it only hits a few homes, those people have to rebuild. And there were still people rebuilding from storms from last year. So my heart just aches for them. And thank goodness no one was hurt in all of this. That's the really good news, because you can replace the houses. It just takes a little while. But an EF1, winds of like 100 miles per hour happening there. It's just one of those frightening things. And you get the cliche sound bites. It sounded like a train.
Yeah. So the other thing that's not the biggest perk for living in Florida this time of year is the heat. It is so hot out. We touched mid-90s this week. And when we don't get those afternoon thunder showers, you get zero relief. And so what people really need to realize, and it seems obvious, but every single year, several times a year, we have stories about people who think they can leave their kids in a car in Florida when it's 95 degrees outside. That is not the case. And this week, we had an Instacart driver who decided that while he was doing his runs, this is Instacart, okay? This is not you just run into a restaurant and grab a bag, which would still not be okay because somebody could jump in your car and steal it, which we've seen many times before. You got to take the kid with you. That's the deal when you're a parent. You can't just leave him in the car. He leaves this kid for 40 minutes inside the grocery store. Somebody walking by happens to see the little one in there. They say she has labored breathing. They go inside, and here is the back and forth between the officers who are visibly upset about this and the Instacart driver who's making excuses. So let's listen to that.
Look the window down on the one side. The window's down. Come on, man. Are you kidding me?
Don't you see how hot it is out here?
Oh, my God.
It's Florida.
She's being treated by EMS right now, bud. Because that's what happens when a child gets left in a hot car. I mean, why would you leave the kid in the car? Rated or not, man. This is my second Instacart. She got wet the first time.
So he's saying, I didn't want to bring her out in the rain. She got wet. This is just, I do want to say the little one was okay. But
Thank goodness, and
just
it was
can't
a
do it.
Publix worker who actually spotted the child. And the thing, I listened to most of that, and we didn't play the part where the Publix worker called 911 and said that the child had labored breathing, as you mentioned, Matt. And so the 911 dispatcher said, "Did you check the door?" And the Publix worker literally says, "I didn't because I don't want to get shot."
I heard
Which
it,
is where
yes.
we are in in Florida and the state of America right now, because I mean, seconds count when it's something like this. And thank God she had the keen eye, because we had an expert and they said it was 95 degrees that day in Florida. And in 10 minutes, the car temperature can go up to 114 degrees. And in 30 minutes, it can get to 129. When they got to this child and got the child out of the car, it was already triple digits. And he said he had been in the store for like 40, 45 minutes or so. But that was way too long. Putting the windows down or
Windows
cracking the
cracked.
windows does
I was just going
nothing.
to say that. Yeah.
Nothing. There's no air circulating. It does nothing. And also for people who don't have children, who have pets, don't do that to your pets either. Just
Yeah.
don't do it. Either get a babysitter, and I know you can't. It
It's
costs
hard.
money. I
Yeah.
get it. I know the
You got to
challenge.
just take them in. Get
Know
a
the
big old
challenges.
baby Bjorn or something, and you
I mean,
take that kid in with you. That's
I'd
what you
rather
have
her
to
be soaking wet in the rain than dead in that car.
do. Right. Yeah.
That's just
Absolutely.
the bottom
Totally agree.
line. So and we've had 4 kids who have died so far this year in Florida in cars. So I don't know when we're going to learn. It doesn't seem like we are going to learn. Anyway.
Probably not.
Okay. Sorry, I went on a tangent on that one because it really is. It is really preventable.
It's
It's one
frustrating.
of those things where you can prevent it 100%, and they just don't. Okay, something else you can prevent as well is speeding. Um,
Can
and
you?
if you're an officer, you really shouldn't.
What if you have
speed.
a really fast car? Can you still prevent it?
Yes, you can, Leadfoot. We had in Seminole County, an officer was pulling over. He spotted an Orlando police car, and tried to pull the guy over because he was going 80 and a 40. So he was going fast, and this was through neighborhoods. And finally, that Seminole officer caught up with the Orlando police officer, and this was their exchange.
What? I am going into work, my man. Why are you trying to pull me over as I'm going into work?
Because you're going 80 and a 45.
I am going into work.
Okay, where are you going
What
to
does
work
it look
for?
like I am dressed for?
What
does it look like I am dressed for?
My name is Deputy Hilton, and they see your driver's license.
No.
Okay.
Man.
My hat's off to Deputy Hill.
Oh, man. Deputy Hill, you're my guy. Because most
He is.
deputies wouldn't pull a fellow deputy over in that situation, and he did.
But 80 and a 45. I said 40, but it's 45.
Yeah.
Through neighborhoods. There are kids out. Summer is here. Kids could be playing in the street. All it would have taken is some kid to run out in the middle of the street, and that guy hits them, and now you have a different situation. Also, he broke the cardinal rule. Can I see your driver's license? No. You can't say that.
You can't get in your car and drive away. You would have been tased in the neck so fast if you weren't law enforcement.
I like how you chose the neck. What kind of taser are you doing?
It's so just the condescending attitude he had. He gets out of the car and he goes, "What?" Like one of my teenagers would say to
we
me.
couldn't even.
What?
Oh no.
And then,
Oh.
okay, you're going right to your room. You know.
Oh, that's nice. You let them live. My mom.
I know our parents. We wouldn't have lived. That's for sure.
No, but it's just one of those things where it's law enforcement. They tell you respect the law. But when law doesn't respect the law, what are you supposed to do? So he just drives right off. And, he's not going to be speeding to work anymore because he was relieved of duty. So.
And that's a shame, but that's just how that story is supposed to end.
Oh,
By the
my
way,
God.
we should end this little block of news. I kind of started a stir this week. I just want to say I went to the beach and I mixed a few waxing sessions.
Oh,
all right?
my God. You're
And it
manscaped.
became national news just because I'm going to show you the video. I was in Destin.
There you are.
There I
you are.
am, full coat
How did
in
you
the
get
beach.
your
No, this-
sunblock on?
So in reality, you can't. I would have a six pack if this were me. This is actually a bear, a little juvenile bear who they say between about a year and a half, 2.5 years old, they leave their mama and they start going out. This one was like, "Hey, I'm going to the beach, baby, hanging out." And so he went out. Rare scene where you actually get to see a bear out there swimming among the beachgoers. Pretty cool sight in Destin.
Yeah.
This made the news everywhere, Gigi. And
It did. It did. I liked seeing it because the bear was obviously hot, and they let him just kind of traipse off, and no one bothered him. So I hope he connected with some family and friends. but
he
but
was really close to people. People were just fine with it.
They weren't
which
even
is pretty
afraid. They
funny.
weren't even afraid. So but what are you going to do? It's hot in Florida. That's what you get.
Gotta
That's
stay
what you
cool.
get. All right.